I start my sermon this morning, I'd like you to do just a small thing. Close your eyes and try to envision the one thing that you would like to create the most. Place it here in your third eye. Give it as much detail as you possibly can. Enter into your heart. Connect the heart and the third eye to it. Okay. I've given you enough time for this. I need you to come back to me. And I want you to remember what you just looked at in 20 minutes from now. All right? So today, I want to tell you a true story about a young man in his 50s. John, it's about John. And John and his wife Amy had a rather spacious bathroom that they had built together. It had double sinks, double vanities, a shower with 2 heads on it. It was perfect. Everything that they ever wanted always came easy to them. Well, John got up early last Wednesday and was preparing for work, but it was going rather slow. And in the mirror, he was making all kinds of contorted grimaces and faces, but he wasn't aware that he was doing it. And his wife walked by, and she caught him in the act. She said, "John, are you practicing for the carnival? Because if your face freezes like that, you're going to scare the dogs." And she walked away laughing. When John came downstairs, he still seemed a bit puzzled. And so Amy asked him, "What is up this morning?" And he looked at her and he said, "You know, I take my job very seriously. There is this person that spent a lot of money on making sure his package got to him. I have tried to deliver this over and over again, first in the morning, then at noon, then in the afternoon, and then again in the evening. I can hear the people in the house. I know that they are there. I know this package is special to them. I knocked on the door. I knocked on the window. I tried to get the dog riled up so that would alert them to me. I asked the neighbor, and he said, 'They're home, I just talked to them.' I just don't get it." Amy asked why John didn't just leave a note on the door asking them to meet him. John said, "I'm not stupid, honey. I know how to do my job. I did all that. I wonder if they're deaf and they can't hear me. Maybe they're expecting it to come in a different method, so aren't in a hurry to answer the door. Maybe they looked outside and didn't think the package was the right size or the right color, and so they thought it was something else." Amy said, "John, why is it so important that you give this to these people?" And John said, "Well, honey, they ordered these pizzas 3 days ago, and I'm getting tired of trying to deliver it to them." Okay, so maybe that's not a true story, but it does happen every day. We ask the universe for many things, day in, day out, fully expecting that our wishes will be granted someday. And we always put that word in there, someday. We have complete expectations of what this has to look like, taste like, be like. We may think our dream man is going to be some super blonde hero, model with blue eyes, young, shapely, not too bright. Right, ladies? Yeah. And the universe hands you a brunette with brown eyes, and you push that aside because it didn't fit what you wanted it to be. Weird. Though you you get along wonderful with the brunette, that you aren't going to get along with the blonde. The universe knows this. But you're still waiting for that hot blonde dude that's not too bright. You may think that your specific new car should be a red sports car like that new Mercedes that came out. Oh yeah. But the universe brings you a red Lamborghini. You turn down the Lamborghini because it is not that red Mercedes. And as you look at that Lamborghini, you say, gosh darn, I wish the universe would bring me my sports car. Hello? The dealer calls you back and says, you know, you left, and I gotta tell you, you can get that Lamborghini for $5,000. The dealer's boss saw you and just wants you to have it because you remind him of his son who has died 3 days ago. You still turn it down because it's not the red Mercedes. This is what we do. The universe brought you your sports car, didn't it? But you weren't very clear with the universe. 2 weeks later, you find out that Mercedes has claimed bankruptcy and the stock in Lamborghinis has just skyrocketed as the next car to buy. Of course, Mercedes isn't going to go down, and I certainly wouldn't want to wish that on anything. It's just a point of reference. The problem is that many times the universe delivers our desire in an unlooked for manner and in a package that is perfect for us, but the parameters that we set out are not. We, on the other hand, always doubt the gift, throw it away, or just do not answer the door. This can be very frustrating for both sides of the creator equation, yours and the universal God. We know that natural law works. Spiritualist teachers always teach you to ask for specifics and then to qualify the statement for saying this now or something better. We always teach that, something better. The kicker is we very rarely recognize the something better. We're still waiting for the this now. We end up losing out on the gift altogether. There are so many students who will say to me, but Reverend Leslie, this natural law stuff doesn't work. I always answer that it works perfectly every time. Every time. And this usually makes the students a bit irritable. If you ask for a car and then qualify the statement with, because I don't have enough money to buy one, give me a car because I don't have enough money to buy one. But you don't back up that statement with, though I always have what I need. The universe is going to hear the last statement. And guess what? It will give you what you asked for. Not enough money to buy a car. You must qualify what you're requesting. Your fear will be your reality over and over and over again. Natural law unequivocally works both ways. Thoughts are things, and they are powerful things. It's a bit like making a pot of potato soup. You put the water in the pot, you peel the potatoes and you cut them up. You add your onions, most of us add our celery, our ham hock, and possibly some spinach. Yum. And then you write a note to your husband saying, Turn this on when you get home, honey. The soup will not be cooked when you get home if your husband does not see the note. Right? Well, the universe is the same way. It has to get your note. You have to ask for what it is specifically. And then qualify it with, I always have what I need. I always have what I need. Recognize and enjoy what Spirit gives you. Mercedes or Lamborghini. Let's go back to John and Amy, shall we? Amy says to her husband, John, who works for Domino's, honey, why don't you try putting on your uniform today? Wear your Domino's hat. So John decides he will try it once again. And he puts on his uniform, all of the regalia, puts on the hat, makes sure that there's a great big Domino's sign on his car. He marches up to the door, and the guy who lives there just happens to be coming out the door and says to John, dude, I ordered that 3 days ago. I want my money back. A little later than 30 minutes, aren't you? Take a vacation on the Bob's time? Well, we are that way with natural law. We have these expectations, and then we get mad when they don't come through. Well, it's not because natural law isn't trying to give it to us. It's because we weren't clear about what our parameters were. And we didn't state unequivocally that we are always taken care of. Because if that is not our thought, if that is not our belief, folks, I'm here to tell you that you will forever get not enough. Not enough. Now, what do you think the universe feels like when you argue with it and scream at it and tell it that it isn't performing in its parameters? Well, it probably doesn't feel anything, does it? But natural law does work. In what ways do you treat the universal flow like the guy treated John? In what ways do you not expect or accept your role in the scenario of natural law? I gave you a moment to create what you wanted. What was the emotional intent there? When I asked you to touch base with your heart, was it, oh, but I'm never going to get that. That's never going to come to me. Or was it, oh, yeah, it's going to be there at the house when I get there. What was the emotion that you felt when you asked for that object of enjoyment? Every day we are bombarded with deliveries that we personally have requested. Every day we walk over top the delivery man because we do not recognize it as our choice or something that was in our best interest. Get behind the universal flow. Recognize your packages by always, always, always being grateful for everything that comes to you, big, little, or small. That's the beginning. Understand in every wakeful moment that you created that moment. You created those packages. How phenomenal. Look what you can do. Good, bad, or ugly. Look what you can do. The law of attraction, the law of vibration, the law of desire, and the law of cause and effect work time after time after time. And to make sure that your thoughts count every minute of every day. When I was a little girl, about 8 years old, I told the universe that the most perfect house would have cement floor boxes in the front. I just thought that that was phenomenal, because then the woman of the house could always plant flowers out there. And as I grew older, I had other stronger versions of the perfect house. So my other houses no one ever had these little concrete boxes in the front. Well, a couple years ago, Ed and I had to find a house to rent in less than 2 days. Less than 2 days. Well, this was the perfect time for the universe to co-create for me what I had asked for when I was 8. When we found the current house that we're living in, these cement blocks were most definitely sitting underneath the windows in the front. And I had to laugh, because I recognized that as one of my desires when I was 8 years old. The universe never forgot my desire. It never forgot what I put out there so strongly. And when you're an 8-year-old, you don't think, no, I can't have that. You just know that it'll be there. You just know. Well, and so the universe supplied when I wasn't in the way. I didn't have enough time. I only had 2 days. I didn't have time. The fact that the universe catalogs every one of our words has got to be a wake-up call for us here today. It catalogs all of our words, and it keeps them in a file somewhere. Too funny. The bottom line to this sermon is that we need to be clear about what we're sending out to the universe, because it's going to be kept in some kind of catalog. Be thankful for everything. All gifts are for your benefit. All gifts. Recognize that perfect isn't always what you think it is. And know that many in spirit love you and are working hard to make your dreams come true. And that many times they can see a bit more clearly than we do, because we're so wrapped in our fear. They may bring you the Lamborghini, because they know the Mercedes is out the door. You are safe. You are loved. You are not alone. Ever. So, we started this sermon with an exercise, didn't we? My request is that you go back to the exercise and close your eyes one more time. Be clear. Hold within your head that which you would create. Connect it to your heart. Now know unequivocally that you have enough, that you are loved, and that you are well taken care of. And this thing that you have held so dearly will be created for you. Let that be your gift today. Amen.
Amen.